Patty took 2 stuffed dogs to the Antiques Roadshow. "Ooh," said the presenter, "this is a very rare set produced by the celebrated Johns Brothers taxidermists who worked in London at the turn of the last century. Do you have any idea what they would fetch if they were in good condition?" Patty replied, "Facing sticks." He storms into the kitchen and announces to his wife, "From now on, I'm the man of this house, and my word is law. You will prepare me a gourmet dinner tonight, followed by a delicious dessert. After I've eaten, you'll come upstairs with me, and we'll have the kind of sex I want. Afterwards, you'll draw me a hot bath so I can relax. You'll wash my back, towel me dry, and bring me my robe. Then you'll massage my feet and hands. And tomorrow, guess who's going to dress me and comb my hair?" His wife looks at him calmly and says, "The funeral director would be my first guess." Little Johnny comes home from school one day and asks his mother what shit meant. Thinking fast, she replied, "Food on the table." Next day, he comes home and asks his mother, "What does son of a bitch mean?" Again, thinking fast again, she says, "It's a priest." Next day, he comes home, asks what few mean. She says it means getting dressed. That same night, a priest was coming over for dinner. Johnny has just finished setting the table when he hears the doorbell ring. He yells, "Got it." He opens the door and says, "Hey, son of a bitch. Shit's on the table and mom and dad are upstairs, fuck." A policeman was rushed to the hospital with an inflamed appendix. The doctors operated and advised him that all was well. However, he kept feeling something pulling at the hairs on his chest. Worried what it might be, he finally got enough energy to open his gown so he could look at what was making him so uncomfortable. Taped firmly across his hairy chest were 3 wide strips of adhesive, the kind that doesn't come off easily. Written in large black letters on the tape was, "Get well quick. From the nurse you gave a ticket to last week." 2 guys were busted for selling drugs and appeared in court. The judge said, "You seem like nice young men, so I'll give you a second chance instead of jail. Go out this weekend, convince people to give up drugs forever, and report back Monday." On Monday, the judge asks the first guy, "How did you do?" "Your Honor, I convinced 10 people to quit drugs." "That's wonderful. What did you tell them?" "I drew 2 circles. O. I told them the big one is your brain before drugs, the small one is your brain after drugs." Then the judge turns to the second guy. "And you?" "I convinced 50 people to quit drugs." "50? Incredible. How?" "I drew the same 2 circles, pointed to the small one and said, 'This is your ass before prison.'" At her annual checkup, 82-year-old Edna sat across from her brand-new doctor, a fresh-faced young man straight out of medical school. "Mrs. Edna," he said, reviewing her file, "I see here you've been prescribed birth control pills." He raised an eyebrow. Edna smiled sweetly. "Oh, yes, I take one every day before bed." The doctor blinked. "Ma'am, there's nothing in these pills that would help you sleep." She leaned in, lowered her voice, and said with a wink, "Oh, honey, I don't take them for me. I crush one up and stir it into my 17-year-old granddaughter's orange juice every morning." She patted his hand gently. "Now that, young man, helps me sleep just fine at night." Edna and Lorraine had been meeting at the same bar every Thursday, but this Thursday was special, though. "Well," Lorraine said, sliding into the booth with a sigh and a martini, "happy anniversary." Edna raised her glass of suspiciously strong Long Island iced tea. "Thanks. 42 years of wedded... something." Lorraine leaned in. "So, what's your husband getting you this year?" Edna didn't even blink. "Drunk." Lorraine cackled. "No, seriously. Jewelry? Dinner? Something romantic?" Edna took a long sip. "He gave me a coupon." "For what?" 10 free foot rubs." Lorraine nearly snorted her drink. "That's not a gift. That's a threat. Just then, Edna's husband Harold waddled past the bar, holding a bouquet of wilted gas station flowers and yelling, "Where the heck are my pants?" Edna lifted her glass. "There he is, my Prince Forgetful." Lorraine wiped a tear from her eye. "Still romantic, huh?" "Sure. Every year I fall in love all over again with gin." A tired-looking blonde drags herself into the doctor's office. "Doctor, there are dogs barking all day and night in my neighborhood. I can't get any sleep." The doctor smiles. "I've got just the thing." He hands her some pills. "A couple of these and you'll be sleeping like a baby." A few weeks later, she's back, looking worse. "Doc, your plan's no good. I'm even more exhausted now." The doctor frowns. "That's impossible. These are the strongest sleeping pills on the market." She sighs. "That may be true, but do you have any idea how hard it is to catch a barking dog and make it swallow one?" A New York cabbie picks up a woman dressed as a nun on Halloween night. She notices him staring in the mirror. "What's on your mind?" He hesitates. "I don't want to offend you, but I've always had this silly fantasy of being kissed by a nun." She grins. "Well, that depends. Are you single?" "Yep." "Catholic?" "Of course," he says, crossing his fingers under the wheel. She smiles. "All right, pull into that alley." A minute later, she kisses him so passionately the windows fog over. Back on the road, the cabbie gets teary-eyed. "What's wrong?" she asks. He sighs. "I lied. I'm married, and I'm Jewish." She chuckles. "No worries, sweetheart. My name's Dave, and I'm on my way to a costume party." A man drinks a shot of rum every night before bed. After years of this habit, his wife decides it's time to make him quit. One evening, she sets up a little demonstration. She places 2 shot glasses on the table, one filled with water, the other with rum. Then she brings out his bait box. "Watch this," she says. She drops a worm into the glass of water. The worm wriggles around happily. Then she drops a worm into the rum. The worm instantly shrivels up and dies. She folds her arms triumphantly. "So, what do you have to say about this little experiment?" The man pauses for a moment, then grins. "Well, it's obvious. If I drink rum, I won't get worms." Sean, an elderly man, white-haired man from England, walked into a jewelry store in a local mall this past Friday evening with a beautiful, much younger gal at his side. He told the jeweler he was looking for a special ring for his girlfriend. The jeweler looked through his stock and brought out a $5,000 ring. The man said, "No, I'd like to see something more special." At that statement, the jeweler went to his special stock and brought another ring over. "Here's a stunning ring at only $40,000, the jeweler said. The lady's eyes sparkled, and her whole body trembled with excitement. The old man, seeing this, said, "We'll take it." The jeweler asked how payment would be made, and the man stated, "By check. I know you need to make sure my check is good, so I'll write it now. You can call the bank Monday to verify the funds, and I'll pick up the ring Monday afternoon." On Monday morning, the jeweler angrily phoned the old man and said, "There was only $25 in your account." "I know," said the old man, "but let me tell you about what a weekend I had." One day, an old man and his wife visited their doctor for a checkup. The doctor wanted to examine the old man first. After examining the old man, he said, "I'm surprised you are in such excellent health." The old man replied, "I attribute it to my good and clean life." "Your good and clean life?" "Yes, I have lived such a good and clean life. The Lord Himself turns the light on for me when I use the bathroom, and the Lord Himself turns the light off for me when I leave." "The Lord Himself did this?" "Yes," insisted the old man. The doctor nodded politely and then said, "I will need to examine your wife next." The old man nodded and left the room. The doctor then examined the wife. After completing his examination, he said, "You are in excellent health. How is my husband? Physically, he's fine, but I'm worried about his mental health." "Why?" "He insists the Lord himself turns the light on for him when he uses the bathroom, and the Lord himself turns the light off when he leaves." "My God, the damn fool is peeing in the fridge again."